Hey friends, hello.
We are now in the Museum of Goa.
No,
Huh?
गोवा म्यूजियम या म्यूजियम ऑफ गोवा जो भी है सही है बट यहाँ पे एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ दिखाते हैं आपको। ये देखो, जैसे जब हम करते हैं ना अच्छे से म्यूज़िक निकलती है। है ना? फिर आगे चलो, बैग टंगा दो मुझे। अभी हम चलते हैं आगे और देखते हैं क्या क्या है। इधर से चले, अंदर चले। यहाँ एक अंकल जी लटके हुए हैं। ये अंकल जी कौन है, आप बता सकते हैं उनके बारे में सर? नो कमेंट्स। अच्छा, ये मेरी पहचान। ओके ओके।
Hello. Hi. I'll guide you.
Okay.
Where are you guys from?
From Mumbai.
Mumbai. Okay. There is a small documentary over there of common, but you follow the documentary. Go upstairs. And some people are watching like my documentary, then I'll get it. Wow.
ये कितना अच्छा बना हुआ है। सबके सब एक साथ हैं। यहाँ से देखो, इधर आओ। ओके।
I've always been considered strange because I was a doctor and then I stopped my medicine, started doing watercolors, sitting on the roadside, and I was doing very well as a doctor. I did not give it up because I was not doing well. I was very extremely successful. So first thought a doctor has gone crazy. I mean, it's such a good practice, and now he sits on the roadside and does some painting. And one old man asked me, normally people like to climb up the ladder of success. Why do you come down? It was all right until you did my
Ab susu lagi.
watercolors. Then I started planting shells. So for most people, the idea of planting shells as a profession was the most weird thing to do for
पर
an
यहाँ
adult.
क्यों नहीं बैठे?
I learned my basic painting skills from my father. Initially, I did rather traditional watercolors. And for the last 20 years, I have been experimenting with different mediums, different kinds of work. And then I traveled around the world. And I would say that I learned my work from museums of modern art. Initially, when I went to Tate Modern, for example, I did not understand most of the works because I was not trained to understand them. And then I thought I'm a fool, or they're taking me for a ride. I decided maybe I'm a fool, let me learn. And that started the process. And after some time, I mean, it was wonderful. A kind of Pandora's box was opened to me by the museums, by the art fairs, by the biennales. And here am I, basically doing a lot of conceptual work now. Turning a walk into a sculpture, which Richard Long floated. I was really fascinated by that idea, the concept of making a walk into a sculpture. And I had done some lamps. So I took one of my lamps, a copper lamp, went to the beach, dug a crater, placed my disc on the top of the crater with the electrical bulb underneath it and the electrical wire running under the sand. Took the electrical connection from a beach shack. And when I put the light on, I was stunned. It was not intentional what I did. It was almost accidental. And my first piece of land art is called a 10th planet because I felt like God. I felt I have created a planet. Most of my work, which I do on the beach, is very temporary, which is ephemeral. It reminds me of a lovely poem by Tagore, who is my favorite poet. It says, "The waves write their poetry on the sand. I'm not satisfied. Wipe them off over and over again." So my works are kind of my poetry on the sand. And the waves wipe them off too. There will be some works which I do with shells which will just last until the high tide comes. That's again a few hours. Well, I consider myself an ocean artist, a sea artist, because as a child, I used to go for a walk from the age of 6 to 16 with my father every day for 2 hours. We have hardly missed a day. And those walks were actually very important to me, that not only sort of created a great relationship between me and my father, but also my father instilled a lot of dreams into me. We would sit down and watch the waves break, the surf run onto the sand, and wet sand. But most of the waves broke and wet the same sand which was wet before. And then a bigger wave would come, hurry ahead, and wet new sand. And my father told me, "Son, anything what you do, it is most important to wet new sand." I do not know whether in my artistic endeavors I have wet new sand, but if I have not, I will try my best too. And this kind of walks sort of created a great relationship between me and the sea. The sea became a friend, a master and a muse and an inspiration. And so a lot of my work is now connected with the ocean. When I plant shells, it is not just because they're beautiful, it looks interesting. When I do that, there's a wonderful kind of a symbiotic relationship. Inspiration, medium,